Hello, educators. Hello. My name is Michelle Mandala Nigh, and I am a mind-body nourishment coach. I hope you had a fantastic holiday weekend. I hope you are enjoying your well-deserved time off. And I was just marveling this morning at how serendipitous it is that I get to speak to you this week. Because it's a transition week for so many people between the holidays and a new year. And it's a time of year when we often start to think about what we want to do different, what we want the next year to look like. We become a little bit more reflective, and we also become a little bit more action-oriented. Am I right? Action-oriented, because so many people want to make resolutions. Well, hey, Mallory, hi. So many people want to make resolutions to guide their upcoming year, and people go in with such great fervor. They want this year to be different. But you know what the statistic is around New Year's resolutions? That only 8% of people actually follow through on their New Year's resolution. So what I think I'd like to encourage you to do is let's look at this year differently. Let's make intentions this year. Now, you're all educators, so you know knowledge is power. But knowledge is only powerful if we take action on it, if we use it. Yeah, Mallory, it is so low, 8%, I know, kind of shocking. But I want to arm you today with some tools to take some action on this year. And I want to start out with this quote. It's one of my favorite quotes. You know, the topic of this live is, are you ready to ignite your light? And this poem, or this saying from Aldous Huxley, just is a guiding force in my life. And it goes like this: it's dark because you are trying too hard. Lightly, child, lightly. Learn to do everything lightly. Yes, feel lightly, even though you're feeling deeply. Just lightly let things happen and lightly cope with them. I was so preposterously serious in those days. Lightly, lightly. It's the best advice ever given to me. To throw away your baggage and go forward. There are quicksands all about you, sucking at your feet, trying to suck you down into fear and self-pity and despair. That's why you must walk so lightly. Lightly, my darling. Yeah, isn't that beautiful? I just love it. And in this time of year when it's so dark, even though we're moving forward more to light because of having gone through the solstice, it's still dark. And I know in Minnesota it's dark. I'm in Missoula, Montana right now, so I know, I know I'm experiencing the short days and lack of light too. So I think it's important that we create light, that we are intentional about creating light in our life. And I'm a mind-body nourishment coach for that reason, because I think we can intentionally move toward light in mind, body, heart, soul, and ultimately spirit. I have a Facebook group called Nourishing Her Spirit. So I think nourishment is at the root of walking lightly in this world. And since we're at this time of New Year's, so many people have often resolutions around their health and losing weight. And how can I make this year better than last year? So I'd like to arm you with some of that information that you need to travel more lightly next year. I really think everything is connected. The way we think, what we eat, how we move, how we see ourselves, how we're connected to our source, how we feel. It's all connected. We can't really separate it out, but we can strengthen each part of us so that we are the most nourished self, so we can be light, strong, and inspired. And the way that I'd like to encourage you to maybe think about this year in health is releasing some of the old paradigms you might have about belief in what you need to be healthy. Health, it seems, has gotten this sort of baggage that it's hard. It's hard to be healthy. It's hard to eat well. It's hard to know what the right thing is to eat and how to move and all that. And I agree. I agree. It's become a little ridiculously complicated because there are conflicting points of views everywhere you look, and then the news tells you this one night coffee's good for us, another night it's not good for us. I mean, it's a little crazy. I agree. So let's tread lightly. Let's lighten up about this, and let's look at what actually is helpful. So if you start to think of your health as your next choice, the choice you're making right now, and the next choice, instead of this huge road, this huge mountain, it's a lot more doable. Because that's really all it is. It comes down to the choice that you're making right now and the choice you're intending to make next. And if you have the right information that will help you make a choice that works for you, it's a lot easier. Health should be simple. And it should come down to how can we best nourish ourselves? How can we best nourish ourselves in mind, body, heart, and soul? And in body, it really is simple. I have a favorite health practitioner right now, and his name is Dr. Will Bulsiewicz, and he's become known as the Gut Health MD. He is a gastroenterologist, and he's written a fabulous book called Fiber Fueled. And I've been following him for a while, and I really want to share his message because it's a message that has really directed what I teach my clients in my program, to help them release weight and release the health conditions that aren't serving them. And Dr. B says that all health and all disease starts in the gut. Gut, yeah. And gut has become this word that we've been hearing a lot of this year. I think 2020 was the year of gut health. But many of us don't really understand what that means. Okay, my gut, my gut, yeah, what does it mean to have a healthy gut? Well, what's so interesting about it is that you are covered with microorganisms, microbes. You are more microbe than you are human, actually. Isn't that fascinating? You are. And microbes are these little microorganisms that we've had a symbiotic relationship with for millions of years. We couldn't live without them. You have trillions of microbes in your body. And this is the microbiome. The whole world is a microbiome. There's, the organisms are everywhere, and they help life expand. They help life thrive. They're in the soil, they're on animals, they're in trees, they're everywhere, and they're on us, and they're in us. And a majority of them for us are in our gut. And what these microbes do is they basically they're running the show. They're running the show. They are directing the health of your body. Each food choice that you make feeds these microbiota. Now, some microbiota are good for, you can't really say they're good or bad, but they promote different things in your body. So certain microbiota are going to promote an inflammatory response in your body. Every condition of dis-ease is the result of cellular inflammation in your body. Every dis-ease. So that is obesity, weight problems in general, gut issues, autoimmune response, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, any type of response like that is an indication of cellular inflammation. It's the simplest way to say that is they're unhappy cells. Unhealthy cells. So there's a lack of harmony going on in the body when you have cellular inflammation. Certain microorganisms in your body, the microbiota, are promoting that cellular inflammation. And what you choose to eat determines which microbiota are going to respond in your body. Certain foods will feed microbiota that are anti-inflammatory, that are helpful, that promote healing in your body and promote harmony in your body. So if there's disharmony going on in your body and cellular inflammation, that means, I really need to look at what I'm eating. Eating is a big part of it. What promotes cellular inflammation? Eating anti-inflammatory foods or eating inflammatory foods. What are inflammatory foods? Animal products are highly inflammatory. Processed junk foods, additives, artificial ingredients, those are highly inflammatory. Stress is highly inflammatory. So if you are experiencing any of those, or even one of those, what is happening is that those are promoting a response of the microbiota that are inflammatory are going to be stronger in your body. And then that in turn will cause some uncomfortable, painful responses in your body. If you're eating anti-inflammatory foods or doing anti-inflammatory activities like reducing your stress, intentionally reducing your stress, exercise, and eating anti-inflammatory foods, what are they? It's this great thing called fiber. Fiber is what the microbiota that are anti-inflammatory love. Where does fiber appear? I'm not talking about Metamucil. I'm not talking about that sort of fiber. That is fiber, but it doesn't have all the other good stuff that fiber foods have. That's fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, beans, nuts, and seeds. These foods of the earth, that is what the microbiota that are anti-inflammatory, that's what they thrive on. It's really mind-blowing how simple it is. And there's so much research being done right now on the gut. And Dr. B is getting this out to us, to the public, so that we're more aware of it. But how far away have we become from real foods, from real whole foods? We've come very far because 97% of Americans are deficient in fiber. Whoa, I know when I heard that statistic, I was like, oh my gosh, really? Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it, Mallory? Gut health is so important. If so many of us are deficient in fiber, and fiber is the key to these anti-inflammatory microbes, What a simple step we could take to improve our health. These foods, the fiber foods, are not only full of the fiber that the microbiota love and thrive on, but they're full of vitamins, nutrients, minerals, all of these other enzymes that your body needs to thrive. What's really interesting then is that when your body is, when more inflammatory microbiota are populated in your gut, you're going to be in a state called dysbiosis, which means disharmony in the gut. And dysbiosis, you may have heard it popularly called leaky gut syndrome. And what leaky gut is that the permeability of your intestines increases. And then this thing called endotoxins in your intestines seeps into your bloodstream. So this endotoxin goes into your bloodstream, and then it just wreaks havoc on your body. And that's where, down the line, these chronic conditions, these degenerative conditions, the cancers and the heart disease, and especially autoimmune issues, that's where these all start from. So that means all of these can be helped and reversed when you change your diet, when you go more towards the fiber and the foods that are going to help you. They're going to help you. Another stunning part of this is that 70% of your immune response, your body's immune response, is in your gut. Like I said earlier, the gut's running the show. So if you are interested in warding off the colds, the flus of this year, COVID, you want to increase your immune response. How can you do that? What's the word? Fiber. What's the word? Fiber. Because if you are eating more fiber, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, beans, nuts, seeds, these foods are going to each feed different kinds of microbiota that are anti-inflammatory. It's going to get them stronger. It's going to increase then the strength of your immune system and your immune response. We know that the majority of people that have had issues with COVID had a pre-existing condition, or likely they had a lower immune response. Now yes, fiber. Now you as educators, if you're in the classroom right now, this is super important for you to arm yourself. Arm your immune system so that you can stay strong and really have a strong defense against any of these viruses that are in the air, on the surface, everywhere. This is so big for your physical health. It really is. But another link to it that they're finding out with the importance of fiber and your gut, a healthy gut, is the link to mental health as well. 90 to 95% of the serotonin in your body is made in your gut, manufactured in your gut. So serotonin is a neurotransmitter. A neurotransmitter is a chemical messenger in your brain. So it's how your brain communicates with the rest of the body and helps to function. To function, you need neurotransmitters healthy, and there are lots of neurotransmitters. But serotonin specifically is known as it's the daytime hormone, and it is it's called the feel-good hormone, feel-good neurotransmitter. So it does a lot to help your mood. And let's look at this. So if you are deficient in fiber, like 97% of Americans are, that means that your ability to manufacture neurotransmitters is very challenged. So we see around us this huge increase in depression, in anxiety, in mental disorders, or what's called disorders in general. We see it in the children. What are they eating? What are you eating? What are you eating to feed your gut, so that your gut can do its job? Oh, it's huge. It's huge. And it puts the power in your hands then to move forward in a way that will feed you, feed your body, nourish your body, and nourish your mind, and arm your mind and body in a way that will allow you to be light. Because what happens then when your gut is in balance, when you're feeding the right microbes, your body will naturally go into balance. Your hormones, your systems will get where they need to go. Your satiety will return. A lot of people struggle with eating too much. That's a consequence of gut health, because you've been feeding the microbes that are like, I want more. And you may have been eating foods that, there are certain foods like, let's take, Doritos and Cheetos. Those foods contain these chemical additives that are intentionally there so that when you eat it, it's called an excitotoxin. And it ignites parts of your brain. They just boo, 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 and you're like, oh my God, this is so good. I want more, I want more, I want more. That's intentional. The food manufacturers, they put it there so that you will overeat it and that you will want more. If you can move yourself in the direction of a whole food, plant-based diet filled with fiber, oh my goodness, your body will thank you. It's a lot of people have kind of mental barriers to hearing that whole food plant-based. It's not something to fear, and it's not something to politicize. It's food. It's food of the earth that we've always, as humans, eaten, and we've gotten away from it. We've in the last 40 years, especially, processed foods have become our norm. Sodas, these what they call energy drinks, but they're not. They don't promote energy. They promote a chemical reaction in your body that is short-lived, and then the long-term effects of it are really destructive to your body. So how can you nourish yourself? How can you take control of this in the upcoming year and in the next couple days? Fiber. Start to love that word. It's kind of a sexy word, isn't it? I know it isn't, but we can change that, because when you start to feed your gut what it really needs for you to be healthy, to promote health, your tastes change. This is the beauty of that. Your tastes start to change. So if you're eating Cheetos today and thinking, there's no way I'm going to be able to give this up, excuse me, when you start to feed the microbes what they really need to thrive, the fiber foods, the Cheeto microbes in your gut, they're gonna die away. They're not going to be thriving because you're not feeding them anymore. And then that in turn will affect what you crave. Your cravings will change as your gut transitions to a healthier state. Oh, educators, there's so much power in this. So much power for you in the next year. For you then to release what isn't serving you. To release weight, maybe that has been holding you down. To release a sense of heaviness. to release chronic conditions, to release chronic colds, to feel like if you're in the classroom, you are the healthiest version of yourself. And then that you're in turn modeling that for your families and for your students. This is the future. It's what we as a society really need to embrace. It's also the best way to eat for the planet. We know that there is, our planet is out of balance right now. And COVID originated in a wet market. Well, our country is full of wet markets. It's called factory farming. And that's what most of Americans are eating every day. But you can make a choice to make a choice toward the fiber revolution. Start a fiber revolution in your own home. And just for you, if you need to, start small. How can you start small? How can you start to take steps in this direction? It seems like one of the best steps to take is just assess what you already love. What fiber foods do you already love? And can you eat more of? And then what non-fiber foods can you start to just slowly move away from? So remember, fiber foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, beans, legumes. And this is actually a really inexpensive way to eat. So you may be saying, oh, beans, wait, Michelle, beans. I know what happens when I eat beans. Yeah, it probably does happen, I know. If you're not accustomed to eating beans, like pinto beans, black beans, chickpeas, those kinds of beans that we've eaten for thousands of years, it's always been a part of humans' diet. But many of us only eat beans now if we go through the drive-thru at Taco Bell. But the reason you have that response, you might get gassy or bloated after you eat some beans or some other high fiber food, is because those microbes in your gut are like, oh wow, wait, hey, we haven't had this for a while. What? Okay, I'm getting stronger here. So you're strengthening those microbes, and they're kind of waking up. And yeah, it might be a little uncomfortable at first, but your gut will transition quickly. The response is so fast that your gut will get stronger quickly. And you can always have things like Beano or some other enzymes that are specifically for natural enzymes for helping with this transition to eating more fiber. But isn't it worth it? I know for me personally, I've been very interested in nutrition my whole life, and I have a master's degree in holistic nutrition, but I still have always found the conflicting information that's been presented in the media to be frustrating and confusing. And so this past year, I really intentionally focused on what is the truth. Now, truth is subjective, of course, but the evidence around this way of eating, especially in this last year, has really exploded. And I think it's such a light for us. It really ignited my light. And I'd love it for it to help ignite your light, because it's such power. It really is. And it's simple. It's simple. It's eating of the earth, foods of the earth. And that connection to who we are as humans, and eating simply and eating compassionately. Taking care of ourselves in body and mind. Nourishing ourselves. So, take steps today. Look at what you already love. Even make lists. I think it's a powerful step to take. Make lists of what vegetables you already love, what fruits you already love, what whole grains, what beans and legumes, and what nuts and seeds. And then look in your cupboards and you're like, okay, what can I eat today that is going to nourish my gut? And then as you move throughout your day, anytime you're going to eat something, ask yourself, is this nourishing me? Am I eating this because it's actually going to nourish me, or am I eating it to numb me, or because it's just a habit, or because it's just there? The word nourished is powerful. Let that be a guiding force for you today and in the next upcoming year, in how you can tread lightly, like Aldous Huxley talked to us about. Lightly, child, lightly. Okay, educators, I thank you so much for your time, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you again on Wednesday. And I'm curious to see what changes you're able to implement, and not make a New Year's resolution, but a New Year's intention. Intend to nourish yourself. And Mallory has said to share my group in the comments, and I will. I'll put my group information in the comments. And I thank you for your attention. I hope you have wonderful days that are nourished. And I send you lots of love and light.